New Year's Day, but no let-up in the hunt for top Taliban leaders tonight. We're on the ground in Afghanistan and at the Western White House with the latest. Plus, they made it out alive from the Pentagon, now their remarkable story of survival. Inferno, raging fires threatening one of the world's most beautiful cities tonight, but are the flames an accident? In depth, day one, new year, new laws around the nation, from your taxes to tattoos, and why is Congress getting a pay raise? And first and goal, a woman's place is on the 50-yard line, face-to-face with the first female CEO to tackle pro football.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Substituting tonight, Brian Williams.
Good evening. On this day when much of America takes a breather, perhaps takes in a bowl game, no R&R tonight for many of the American armed forces overseas who are still very much in the hunt for the top forces of al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden, while still at large, is not the only prize in this war. His closest political ally, Taliban leader Mullah Omar, is a major target, and to that end, there is a major effort underway to find him. So we begin our reporting this New Year's night with NBC's Chip Reed in Kabul, Afghanistan.
In southern Afghanistan, no New Year's Day holiday for the Marines stationed at Kandahar Air Base. Just after midnight, a unit moved out for the Bagram area, 100 miles northwest of Kandahar, where Omar is believed to be hiding. If they find him, a U.S. military official told NBC News, quote, the Marines would be ready to act very quickly. The location of Osama bin Laden, on the other hand, remains a mystery. Some officials here say he is still in Afghanistan. Others insist he escaped from the caves of Tora Bora and slipped over the border into Pakistan. How to find bin Laden? U.S. officials hope interrogation of the 210 detainees now in U.S. hands will provide clues. 8 of the al-Qaeda and Taliban prisoners, including American John Walker Lind, were moved today from the USS Peleliu to the USS Bataan in the North Arabian Sea. Also on the move today, Afghan refugees, but not returning home. These are the families of Taliban fighters seeking refuge in Pakistan. Afghan government officials tell NBC News there are troubling signs that the Taliban may be regrouping with the help of their allies in Pakistan. While there were no U.S. airstrikes over Afghanistan today, the Afghan Minister of Foreign Affairs has said the bombing campaign is far from over.
I think it should continue. It should continue as long as terrorist cells are in Afghanistan.
To help keep the peace once those terrorist cells are eliminated, British Marines are now setting up a base in Kabul.
Chip Reed reporting for us tonight from Kabul, Afghanistan. The U.S. military effort is being watched closely, as you might imagine, at the Western White House in Texas, where the president last night celebrated the arrival of the new year. NBC News White House correspondent Campbell Brown joins us tonight from Crawford, Texas. Campbell, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Well, the president spent today relaxing on the ranch with friends. This morning, though, he did get an update from intelligence and national security officials on the hunt for Osama bin Laden and Mullah Omar. The president conceded to reporters just yesterday that there is no new information on their whereabouts, but he insisted they are now on the run, and it's only a matter of time before the two are in custody. Advisors say this is key to completing the mission in Afghanistan, but they also say that the president will soon announce new steps the government is taking to improve security here at home. Homeland Security Director, Tom Ridge, is putting together recommendations for the president on tightening border security and visa requirements and improving the public health system to prevent or at least prepare the country for any possible future terrorist attacks. And the president is expected to outline those new steps in his State of the Union address at the end of the month. Brian?
Campbell Brown with the president in Crawford, Texas tonight. Thanks. And now to the everyday struggles many Americans are left with post-September 11th. Returning to work is still a ways off for a small group of Americans who somehow managed to escape the area of the Pentagon building hit the morning of September 11th. They survived, though badly burned. NBC's Suzanne Malveaux now on the long and difficult road to recovery.
Determination to heal. Every day, a struggle to beat the odds. Less than a dozen made it out alive from the Pentagon's Ground Zero. One of them, 50-year-old security expert and Army retiree, John Yates.
I had second and third degree burns over about 35% of my body, from my head, my face, my leg, my arms, and my back.
While their brothers fight the war in Afghanistan, these warriors face a different battle. Their successes measured in increments.
First time I picked up a fork and fed myself.
Good morning.
John's journey to recovery begins on the way to the hospital, his route taking him right past the Pentagon and the memories of that day.
I thought I was going to die.
But John is moving on, literally leaving those images behind. His rehabilitation full-time, skin grafts, scalding wax dips.
This is the toughest part?
This is the toughest part.
Torturous exercises to restore his hands' full range of motion.
You know, it's the no pain, no gain portion of it.
They call themselves the Pentagon 7 survivors of the September 11th attacks, who will spend the next several years coming here to the Washington Hospital Center to heal their burns and mend their lives. More than physical wounds tended to, lifetime friendships forged here. John and Brian Birdwell, once strangers at the Pentagon, now family.
We've all endured the grafting, the treatments.
Kind of like guys who've been in combat together.
Now winning the fight through recovery milestone moments for both. For Brian, passing the Olympic torch at the Pentagon.
So it's my second time back, but it's great to be home. This is where I work.
For John, smaller victories, not so small at all.
It was a milestone when I could put my arms around my wife and hug her.
This holiday, no New Year's resolutions, just a new outlook on life. Suzanne Malveaux, NBC News, Washington.